We are looking at figure 8.1, page 169 of your textbook. What this figure tries to show you is that different types of industries are affected differently by environmental policies because the demand is different, right? So if we look at this industry first, let's call it industry A. It has a price over here, which I'm going to express in the letter P, and then on the horizontal axis it has quantity we produce, which I'm going to express with Q. Just make that a bit more neat. Q, right. We said this industry, for example, has a very inelastic demand curve, meaning it's a very steep demand curve. This is what we call demand for industry A. Now there's another industry as well, same thing. It's called industry B. It also has a price on this vertical axis, B, 0, and quantity, measuring in Qs. However, this industry is a bit different in the sense that it doesn't have such a steep demand curve. It has a much flatter demand curve. This we call a relatively relatively elastic demand curve. So it's not important. What's important is that the one is very steep, the other is very flat. Now the government decides, listen, we need to improve the environmental quality. We have to improve pollution, right? So initially, let's say the price of producing this product was P1. Let's make it the same for this industry to keep it simple, P1. And then the government said, guys, we're sorry, but we have to tax you on pollution because the pollution is getting out of control. Now it's more expensive for these industries to produce their products, and the price of producing the product increases. Okay, let's keep it the same, just for simplicity. All right, the price increased. So initially, industry A was at equilibrium 1, where they produced a quantity of Q1. Now the price increased. Now they are at a price of P2 at the equilibrium of E2, where they produce a quantity of Q2. Can you see the quantity that produced decreased? So the fact that I have to pay taxes for pollution decreased their output, right? It was negative on their output. So it decreased from Q1 to Q2. The same happened for industry B. Initially they were in equilibrium, it's called equilibrium A, to keep it different, with a quantity of QA. Then the price increased after the policy was implemented. Now they're at equilibrium B, where they produce a quantity of QB. Right, so they also experience a decrease in quantity. But can you see that the decrease in quantity for industry B is much, much larger than the decrease in quantity for industry A? So we say that the shape of your demand curve will also influence the impact of environmental policies, will influence what type of impact environmental policies will have for your industry. So if you have a relatively flat demand curve, you will see a huge impact due to environmental policies. If you have a steep demand curve, you will see a much smaller impact due to environmental policies. And that's the most important thing I want you to see out of this graph, is that the impact differs. You don't have to worry too much about the shaded areas. They show the difference in the shaded areas, what they show in the textbook.